Hey everyone, Tony Walsh here. Welcome back to the channel. It's December the 19th. It's a beautiful sunny day, 64 degrees. Uh, just a great day to be out in God's creation. So, why are we here? Well, if you look behind me, the 2025 pecan season here at R&W Farmstead has come to a close. And if you've watched our recent videos, you'd know that it was a dismal year for us. But now's the time to start preparing for the 2026 growing season. And I'm going to do that by taking some soil samples. But before we do that, let's discuss the two different kinds of testing that we do for our pecan trees, or that we should do for our pecan trees. Obviously, I haven't been doing them, but if I want a better harvest in 2026 than I did in 2025, I need to prepare for it today. So the most common method of testing for any agricultural product is obviously the soil test or the soil samples. But for pecan trees, there's also a leaf sample test, and that's not going to be done till July to August. So today we're just going to talk about soil testing, and I'll talk about leaf sample testing, when that time comes. Because obviously we can't test leaves because all the leaves on the ground are dead, so there's no life to them, so nothing's growing in them or not growing in them that would give us a good test result. But for pecan trees in South Georgia, soil testing for pH and general fertility is done in the fall or late winter, and I like to do it after we pick the nuts up. That way you know pretty well the trees are in their dormant stage. If not, they're almost in their dormant stage, meaning they're not pulling very much more nutrients from the ground. They'll wait until spring to start doing that. Like I say, the leaf testing I spoke about a moment ago, it gives you the immediate need of the tree. Whether you need more spray, such as zinc, or an additional fertilizing on the ground, where the soil sample gives you the results for the long haul, especially the next growing season. And that's why we're pulling the soil sample now, to where we know how to prepare for the next growing season. So let's walk over here to my truck just a moment. So here on my truck you see 4 plastic buckets, and they have been cleaned. And the reason they're cleaned is you don't want any outside contaminants that would affect your soil sample, and you don't want to use the galvanized bucket or a metal bucket because you don't want a false reading from that. So like a galvanized bucket may affect your zinc reading just a tick. So it's best to always use a clean plastic bucket, and I don't need 5 gallons. A 1 gallon bucket would have been fine. But I'll show you why I got a bigger bucket in just a moment. Also got my probe here that I'm going to dig in the soil. I wish I had a longer one, but all I got is a short one. But you only need 4 to 8 inches of dirt anyways. And I'm going to walk you through that in just a moment, because I'm going to pull a sample from each side of the tree, and I'm going to stay under the tree line because that's where the roots are. I'm not going to sample right up around the edge of the tree because the roots that are pulling nutrients are farther away. So I'm going to get in halfway between the tree itself and where the outside canopy of the limbs are. And then I have some papers here in my hand, and I'm pulling 4 samples. One will be from Jackie and mine trees. The other ones will be here for the trees in Blessed Nana's yard. And then I got two sets of samples I'm going to take over at my sister-in-law Becky's house. And what I'll do is just drop 1 in each bucket, so that way I don't forget whose sample is whose. And I really don't think that's going to matter to us because we're all on the same type of soil here. Now, if I was sampling here and then going 10 miles down the road, I may not want to mix those samples up because it could be 2 different soil types, because we have multiple soil types here in our area. So, but right here, since we're all together, the soil's probably all the same, but to be the best steward of the land, to be the best producer of the pecan crop, I feel it's best to make each sample separate. That way we can figure out the best blend of fertilizer that we need. Now, I may get all 4 of them reports and decide I'm not going to buy 4 different kinds of fertilizer, or 3 different kinds of fertilizer, or 2 different kinds of fertilizer. I'm just going to find something in the middle to meet all 4 needs, because again, we have to be fiduciary responsible, and sometimes buying a smaller amount of fertilizer can cost more than buying a larger amount. So we'll figure that out when we get the soil test back. So let me get you turned around here to look at the trees, and then you'll see me pull 2 samples from the side of each tree. And I'm not going to have you watch me do all the trees. I'm just going to do the 2 that's right here behind the camera, and that will give you the gist of how I pull samples. And once I get them pulled, we'll go to the store in town and deliver the samples. So let's get turned around and do some digging in the dirt. Okay, I only ended up doing 3 instead of 4. I only needed to do 1 at Becky's instead of 2. And I hope y'all can hear me over the cars, because I'm at the Griffin's Warehouse, which is our local fertilizer dealer here in Blackshear. So you can see the 4-lane highway right there. So anyways, done 3. And here's what a soil sample bag looks like if you've never seen one. Now, you can do these at the University of Georgia free. Take some time and stuff like that, so it's just easier for me to spend a little bit of money and have them done here, because they'll have it on file, so that way if I lose it, they'll have it and they'll still be able to blend my fertilizer or whatever. So that's the sample soil bag. You can see Jackie's name or address. The field ID, I put JW on ours. I've got BC for Becky's and LA for West Nana's, so that way when we get the reports back, we'll be able to distinguish which set of trees need what kind of fertilizer, or do we just do a one blend fits all. So when we come back, I'll have the soil samples in my hand and we'll talk about them. Now, I talked about the reason for not using metal buckets, because it could mess up your soil test, but the other thing that you want to pay attention to is your probe itself. If you can see, there is still dirt in the end of this probe. So when you're done with it, you need to clean it out. So, you know, you can just take your finger and poke the dirt out, but Mine come with a brush. So you can just sit there and brush the dirt out of it. You can take your air compressor and blow the dirt. Take a rag, wipe it off. Do whatever you need to do to get it clean. Because what you don't want is rust building up on this. Now this is, even though this is stainless steel, you still need to take care of it, because rust can also throw some anomalies possibly into your soil test. Well, just do away with the possibility, clean your probe and take care of it. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today is New Year's Day, January 1, 2026. It is a beautiful 44 degrees out here. I'm in a long sleeve shirt. Long as there's no wind, it is a beautiful and glorious day. So I just want to wish you a happy new year. You know, in those clips that you just saw, we had sent off soil samples to the lab, and we have them back. So let's go inside and take a look at them. Okay, we're inside and we're looking at my computer screen, and I have lost my tripod, which means I'm holding this by my hand while I'm trying to read the screen and read my notes right here. So if we get a little wiggly and all that, it's just because my hand. So anyways, we're here looking at the soil analysis report for the 3 samples that we sent off to be tested. And they're close, but I want to look at each one in a little bit different of comparisons. And keep in mind that I am not a soil expert here, so if I misspeak, you know, just forgive my ignorance. But looking at this top set of rows and columns right here, we've got the top set here and then the bottom set down here. So you can see here, you know, that I've named them LA, BC, and JW as samples 1, 2, and 3, so that way I can keep the orchards separated. And unfortunately, the ones that Jackie and I own are the worst of the three orchards, and we knew that because we knew what we harvested. And I just attribute that to the fact that the peanuts and the cotton are grown right up next to the root line of the trees. So that just is what it is. And if you remember those earlier clips, I said I was going to take 2 samples over at Becky's house, but only ended up taking 1. Looking at these, I think that if I had taken the 4th sample over at her place, then it would have mirrored our sample, because half of her trees have cotton and peanuts growing right up next to them as well. So I think our remedy for that next year is going to have the guy that's farming it push his planter out about 30 more feet to get the field away from the pecan tree root line. Of course, and that'll give us about 30 more feet of yard that we have to mow on a weekly basis. But hey, if it improves the harvest, we'll mow some more yard, because we write the maintenance and the gas and all that for the lawnmowers off, because they're mowing the pecan orchards with it. So hopefully that will help next year by pushing the agriculture portion away from the fruit reline. But looking at all this, you know, it's a bunch of numbers. As again I said, I'm not an expert, but I want to look down here at the soil fertility recommendations. As you can see, they're all for pecans for the maximum yield. In looking at these numbers, to me, it still makes sense for us to have the fertilizer company just blend us one type of fertilizer so that we can just purchase it in bulk, and will really make it easier. Well, one, to make it cheaper to buy just one blend, but it also makes it easier for me to spread, because I'm not having to try to figure out 3 different blends to go in 3 different places, and I get too much of one, not enough of the other. You know, it just gets to be a hassle, you know, especially when I'm working a full-time job. So the first thing I want to look at is the line column. And I'm really not sure yet how to purchase this in a way that, excuse me, my elbow fell off the table, a way that I can spread easily. I mean, I know you can buy it in bags, but I just got to figure out, you know, how I'm going to spread it. Because one thing I forgot to show in the top part of the chart is the soil pH right there. You can see it's at a 6.3. In pecan trees like 6.0 to 7, so we're in the range, but we're on the low side of it, so we need to do some improvement there just a little bit, because every little bit's got to help. So the next columns I want to look at here are the NPK, which is the nitrogen, phosphate, and the potash recommendations. The analysis is recommending, excuse me, 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre. For each of the 3 samples, so that's going to be simple right there to blend. The phosphate column's a little bit tricky because Blessed Nana's trees only need a maintenance dose. You can see by the asterisk there by that number 40, where Becky needs a 45 and we need a 55. So we need a little bit more than Nana needs. So we'll just have to figure out somewhere in the middle between 40 and 55. Again, I'll get with the fertilizer company for that. Of course, and then our potash column, we're all doing good there. You can see by the asterisks by each of the 360s right there, we're all in the maintenance there. So we're doing good there. Now you get over here to the boron. I don't know anything about those numbers. I don't know if one is good or bad. Could not tell you. Zinc. Now I'm a little puzzled as to why Nana's trees, there's not a number by the zinc. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm going to have to learn this when I go to the fertilizer company. And that'll be another video coming up. But Nana has nothing, according to that block. Becky's is a 5 and ours is a 12. Now again, what that means, I have no clue. And then when you get over here to the copper, neither one of them register anything. And we have a 0.40. Again, I have no clue what that means. So again, this is a learning curve for me. Even when I had 300 trees way back when I was younger, Jackie's Uncle Wendell always done that portion of it for me, so I never had to really, I never really learned this like I should have, because I always relied on his knowledge to just get it done. I'd spread it, but he'd get me what I needed. So one last thing is, if you remember in those earlier clips, I had talked about taking leaf samples, and in this bottom yellow box here, it says here that additional nitrogen may be needed as determined by a plant tissue analysis, which is the leaf samples. And if you remember, I said soil samples or soil testing gives you the long haul needs of the tree, and the leaf samples will give you an immediate need. So they'll tell me right then, do I need more zinc? Do I need more nitrogen? Do I need more something else? Of course, and those leaf samples won't be taken around till July. So we'll just again see how that goes. So that concludes part 1 of our 2026 pecan season begins. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all have a blessed 2026. So until we get back together, y'all take care, and God bless.